Hey, Alright, so I wanted to talk about what I spent doing this entire project in the video where I built it, but that video was getting pretty long, so let me explain how much I spent doing this in a separate video. And I also want to talk, a lot of people ask me when I post videos of this building how much I spent building it. And that's a good question, but I didn't keep track. I didn't care. I just did it. I did it over years, and I did it as I kind of had the money. And even if I did keep track, that number, it wouldn't really mean anything, because I got a lot of materials here secondhand, and there was no labor. It was just me. So if you were trying to hire someone to build a building like this, it would be, I don't know, it's not like traditional construction, so it's probably a little bit harder for a lot of builders to price, but building it myself was just kind of the fun of it anyway. So, and finding the materials secondhand as I had the money, that was cool too. So really, I didn't spend that much on this entire project. Probably a lot less than a lot of traditional construction could have. All right, let's try to add up how much I spent building this decorative entranceway on this shipping container. So first thing, these lights. I think these were like 15 bucks each at Lowe's, something like that. They weren't that much money. And a lot of the materials here, I bought very little to do this project. I tried the best I could to use stuff that I had laying around that was extra from other jobs. So like this 2x4 box steel, I didn't buy this to do this project. I had it laying around. This is the same metal I built my hot tub heater out of, and I've used this metal for fixing a few auto frames. So really, it was extra. That's why usually when I buy metal, I try to buy extra, because you always end up using it on something else. So I don't even remember how much this is, but I don't think that was that much money. This steel diamond plate, that was left over from another project. This wood, these are from trees I had milled, and I think I paid, I said earlier in the video, but I don't know, I want to say like maybe all this wood here is maybe $20–30 to have it cut, if that, because it's oak that I cut down, plus it was recycling because I was getting paid to cut the trees down anyway. This is probably the most expensive thing here, this lock. I'm sure I could have found a used one or something, but that was 150 bucks. Really, this is all just small miscellaneous hardware. These rocks, these are everywhere in this area. They're pretty much free. My property's covered in them. I'll talk more on that later. I don't know, there's wire lath before. It was just pretty much hardware. Like the screws and bolts, I had to buy a few things like that. These carriage bolts, these screws here. This steel, this was left over from another project. This is 6x6 box tubing, 1/4-inch wall. So I don't even know the price on that because I didn't buy it recently. I bought it a long time ago. But I mean, if you had to buy everything on this project to do this, you'd probably spend, I don't know, maybe $500 or $600 on the high end. I don't know. I mean, the prices in different areas can really vary. So let's talk more about how to get this material cheaper, because I think that's a better way to answer the question. So, for example, when I was building my entire building, I needed a lot of steel. And I went to a few local steel yards to price it, and I was getting numbers back that were pretty high, more than I felt it should have been. I couldn't really afford it. And then I tried this other steel yard, and the price was like half. It was like a bigger steel yard, Albany Steel it was called. And then I found out that the smaller local steel yards I had been getting prices from, all they were doing was buying it from Albany Steel, having it shipped to their yard, doing absolutely nothing to it, and then making me come pick it up and doubling the price. And all they're doing is just marking up the materials. So when you're sourcing all your materials for a building like this, and that goes for every material, whether it be the steel, the wood, the shipping containers, always buy it from the source. You don't want to buy it from someone that's just marking it up for no reason, because that's very easy to do that. So once I got it from Albany Steel, they delivered it right to my house, and it was about half the price. So if you want to do a building like this, the first thing you'll need is plans and a permit. I already did a nice video on how to plan your container building. For the permit, I had hired an engineer to help me with the plans, and I was able to submit that to the town for a building permit. See what the town in your area wants for plans. Usually they want to make sure that the building you're putting up is safe and isn't going to fall down from snow or wind or anything. This building is pretty much flood, fire, and windproof. The building inspector said it was built like a bunker, so it made his job pretty easy.
For pricing, let's just say we are going to build a building like this one. For the foundation on a container building is not much different than the foundation for a regular garage. Unless you're just setting the containers on gravel or something, which you can do, but I do not recommend. This step is not specific to container buildings. I just did a video explaining how to do a slab for your container building. You will save a lot of money if you can do the work yourself. If you're planning on hiring someone, you can just give them your foundation plan and ask for a price. If you're pricing doing the work yourself, try to figure out what materials you will need and where they are available near you, like gravel, rebar, form boards, concrete, and tools. The best place to get containers from is one of the large shipping ports that has like thousands of them just sitting around. There's one in Newark, New Jersey. I think a 40 standard height is about $1,400 right now picked up, but trucking can get expensive depending on how far it has to go. I needed some columns and I-beams to support my heavy concrete roof. This is something you may be able to find used from an old building or bridge. I bought my steel new. This building has a concrete roof on it. It is made out of precast concrete panels called Spancrete. They are often used for parking garages, bridges, tall city buildings, or other similar applications. They are strong, fast, and easy to install. Search for a company in your area that makes these. Give them your plans and they will give you a price. I had initially gotten a price of $13,000 for my second floor and roof. That was the panels delivered and installed with a crane. I ended up doing it cheaper than that, but that is still probably cheaper than any other type of roof. Now with my containers and roof done, it was time to do the block walls. This step isn't any different than doing blocks normally. I welded rebar to the containers to attach the block walls. I got a good price on block by going to a block place and asking for surplus blocks. They were all different colors. If I had to do it again, I may just do a poured wall, as the block was a lot of work and I had filled all the blocks solid.
So I hope this video helps you figure out how to plan and price building your shipping container building. Good luck on your project.